Hello you guys and welcome to the channel.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man.
Everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, don't be. Go ahead and click that subscribe button to be a part of the Witness gang, to join the Witness Nation. Let's get into this, shall we? Hello you guys and welcome to the channel. If you're new, don't be. Go ahead. I'm Whitney. Keep it cute and get the boo. Your girl, as whack as she is in all her glory, was in the New York Times. All right, you guys, welcome back. Disclaimer. This platform discusses any and all information that has been made known to the public in any way. I am not a journalist. I am a commentator. So the information is all alleged, but the commentary is absolutely very real. Hey, you guys, welcome back. Let me go ahead and get into everything. Welcome. Place your city and/or state in the chat so I can see where you guys are tuning in from. Okay, make sure you keep it cute or get the boot. All right. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Like this video and share this video. Okay. Now, if you'd like to join this channel, you can do so by clicking the join button that's located below this video. If you click out of the chat, you will see the button where it says join, okay? You click there to join, or you can visit the description box and find the link there as well, okay? And not for nothing, if you would like to donate, take a pause for the cause, you can hit that super chat button, or you can send me a Cash App donation at WhitneyDTV87. Okay, all of it is highly appreciated and goes back into the channel. I absolutely promise you. You know where your money goes when you see the elevation of production and just value overall of the shows that you support. I'm gonna leave that at that. Not for nothing, this material is protected by a fair use clause of the Copyright Acts of 1976, allowing the rebroadcast of copyrighted materials for the purpose of commentary, entertainment, and education. All right. And lastly, if you'd like to send me a goodie or what have you, you can do so by sending it to my P.O. box located at the bottom of the screen. All right. Let me know what you guys think about this information that we're going to be reading. Okay. Now, again, for you guys to just get caught up. Okay. I started earlier this afternoon through reading of the motion that the government submitted for R. Kelly to get 25 plus years. In this particular motion, we hear a lot more detailing pertaining to the evidence that was shown in court and just a lot of stuff that we actually read already, but it brought it all back up. You know, and I'm just trying to get everybody caught up so we can be on one accord as we continue to read. Very sad. You hear about R.KELLY being forced to give fellatios to Alex's nephew, right? And he actually took the stand himself. You hear about about feces and urine being smothered all over 3 individuals, not just R.KELLY, but other unfortunate young ladies. We hear about a lot of things, and so we're going to continue with I'm gonna read as much as I can. I know for sure I'm not going to be able to continue this, and I'm not sure how long I'll be able to read here soon because I have to go pick my son up from the movies. But I'm going to read as much as I possibly can for you guys, and I'll be back to continue it if we don't. Okay. Not for nothing. Let me see who's in the building. Hey, Ashley. Hey, come get this commentary. Kiva says, Michigan in the building. What it do, beautiful? Keep it cute or get the boot. Ow, you already know. You already know. I don't play about that, child. Mm-mm, mm-mm. But not for nothing, you guys. Yeah, so I guess if I'm not mistaken, I called everybody up. All right. While I share my screen, I just want to let you guys know that we do not know any more than what I have divulged with you guys. The appeal process is still appealing. Okay. Judge Donnelly has not ruled in regards to that at all. So we are still pretty much in the up and ups of waiting to see what she decides in regards to this appeal process, child. So you didn't miss anything. It's not nothing more than I can tell you in regards to it. Okay. So since we're pressed for time, let me go ahead and get into um this read. Okay. All right. We left off on page 9. Let me get this light. We left off on page 9 at the top of page 9, and I'm just going to continue from there. Okay. All right. On another occasion, upset that Faith had broken one of his rules, the defendant required her to give him oral sex after bringing her into a tiny room where a gun was present, grilling her with questions and telling her that there would be consequences if she lied. With his gun nearby, the defendant then placed a pillow on the floor, told Faith to get on her knees, pulled out his penis, grabbed the back of Faith's neck, told her to suck his dick, and pushed her forward so her mouth made contact with his penis. Scared and intimidated, Faith acquiesced. As Faith described it, she was under the defendant's rules and he had a weapon, so she wasn't even going to step out of line. In sum, the defendant used coercive control, exemplified by a pattern of isolation, rules, dependence, threats, intimidation tactics, physical abuse, and on at least one occasion, the presence of a firearm, force victims, including minors, to engage in sexual activity with the defendant and others at his direction and to become unwilling participants in his pornographic films he created. Exposure to genital herpes. Now, the defendant also exposed multiple men. Oh, no, not the men. No, you don't say. Not the negettes, but the negroids too. Mm, Y'all better be tuning in to my They Called Him Daddy too. Okay? As we read the transcripts of the negroids that he messed with too. Okay? Mm-hmm. The defendant also exposed multiple men, women, boys, and girls to a sexually transmitted and incurable disease, genital herpes, without their knowledge or consent. Notwithstanding that he had been explicitly told by his personal doctor to inform his sexual partners of his diagnosis and to use a condom when having sex, which neither this ninja did. As early as 2004, the defendant had been diagnosed with genital herpes and exposing. Okay, I was looking at my phone, y'all. Told y'all waiting on my son. Um, Exposed a woman who testified at trial using the synonym Kate, and another woman, Jane Doe number 12, to herpes without their consent. Both sued him and received financial settlements in exchange for their silence, but the defendant nonetheless remained entirely undeterred by these financial consequences. Now, over the next 15 years, the defendant engaged in unprotected sexual intercourse with multiple partners, exposing each of them to his genital herpes. As proven at trial, the defendant never disclosed his diagnosis to Jane or Faith, and never sought their consent to engage in unprotected sexual activity in these circumstances, as did many of the defendants' sexual partners before her, including Geronda, when she was just 17 years old. Now, Jane contracted genital herpes from the defendant, a serious medical condition she will have to live with and disclose to future partners for the rest of her life. Now, as Jane testified, she was devastated after receiving her diagnosis. She explained, I felt that this man had purposely given me something he knew he had, a situation that he could have controlled. By contrast, when Jane told the defendant about her diagnosis, he appeared agitated and Colossus, Calalis, I guess, Calluses. Lee told her she could have contracted it from someone else. When she subsequently had some had herpes outbreaks, y'all know I'll be butchering these words. I do apologize. Outbreaks. The defendant disparaged her, telling her, "I think your pussy is broke." Discussion. The guidelines calculation. Now, in his sentencing memorandum, the defendant lodges several objections to the guidelines calculations set forth in the PSR and PSR addendum. Additionally, the government, additionally, the government objects to certain aspects of the guidelines calculation in the PSR and PSR addendum. Each of those objections is addressed below. A. Racketeering Act 1 bribery related to Jane Doe number 1, Aaliyah. As to Racketeering Act 1, the defendant objects to the inclusion of a two-level enhancement under USSG 3B 1.4 for the use of person less than 18 years of age to commit the offense of bribery. May 27, 2022. Sentence Memorandum 4. While the government agrees with the probation department that the defendant used Aaliyah, then 15 years old, to perpetrate the marriage fraud, the government cannot say that he used her to perpetrate the bribery itself, and therefore submits that the court should not apply this enhancement. Oh, y'all hear that? Oh, but the feds just want to take him down. See, now, and I also heard, from other YouTubers that, a lot of stuff got looked over with the government and this and there. It don't matter, because the government is the government. And see, look how honorable that is for them to call out their own stuff and be like, you know what, we got to agree with them. Oh, but they looked over the text messages, right? Because they was just, people was just oblivious in the courthouse. But they called themselves out right now. Okay, I'll continue. Racketeering Act 2, sexual exploitation of a child, Jane Doe number 2, Stephanie. As to Racketeering Act 2, the defendant objects to the two-level enhancement pursuant to USSG 2G2.1B2A, which applies if the offense involved A, the commission of a sexual act or sexual contact in the defendant's view. The enhancement is duplicative of the sexual conduct in the base offense level. May 27, 2022, Sentence Memorandum 4 through 5. He is wrong. Sexually explicit conduct does not require the commission of a sexual act or sexual contact. Sexual explicit conduct, as defined by 18 USC 22562, and see this particular case law, includes, among other conduct, lascivious exhibition of the anus genitals, or pubic area of any person. By contrast, a sexual act or sexual contact defined by 18 USC 22462 and 22463, see this particular case law, does not include and goes well beyond such conduct, instead covering contact between certain body parts and intentional touching of body parts. Accordingly, the enhancement is not duplicative. Remember, she kept saying that this is just a repeat and they just are duplicating this and that and third. What the government is saying, on the contrary, me Cherie, that's not true. Sorry, y'all. This is my first time actually able to eat lunch. My bad. Accordingly, the enhancement is not duplicative. You see this particular case law, and it states rejecting the defendant's argument that where a defendant was convicted of a violation of 18 USC 2251, the two-level enhancement under 2G 2.1 B2A amounted to impermissible double counting. Now, Racketeering Acts 3 and 4, kidnapping/men act violation, Jane Doe number 3, Sonia. Now, the defendant objects to the inclusion in the guidelines calculation of the conduct related to Sonia. As alleged in Racketeering Acts 3 and 4, May 27, 2022, Census Memorandum 5, the government submits that Sonia's testimony was credible and supported by other evidence, and therefore is properly included in the PSR, while the government submits that this conduct has been proven by a preponderance of the evidence and constitutes relevant conduct pursuant to United States versus Ruggiero, and this particular case law. Now, because the adjusted offense level associated with the offense conduct, even absent conduct related to Sonia, carries a life sentence. Yikes. The additional conduct related to Sonia has no bearing on the adjusted offense level, and the government respectfully submits that the court need not make a finding as to whether it should be included in the guidelines calculation. CF United States versus Crosby, 397F.39103, 2D circuit. I think it's circuit 2005. Now that the duty to apply the applicable guidelines range is not mandatory, situations may arise where either of two guidelines ranges, whether or not adjacent, is applicable, but the sentencing judge, having complied with section 3553A, makes a decision to impose a non-guidelines sentence, regardless of which of the two ranges applies. This leeway should be useful to sentencing judges in some cases to avoid the need to resolve all of the factual issues necessary to make precise determinations of some complainant matters. For example, determination of monetary loss. Racketeering Act 5, Men Act violation, Jane Doe number 4. Geronda. 1. Grouping. As an initial matter, the government disagrees with the probation department's grouping of Racketeering Acts 5, 6, and 7. Section 3D1.2 of the United States Sentencing Guidelines U.S.S.G provides that counts involving substantially the same harm shall be grouped into a single group. and then sets forth four means through which conduct should be grouped, including when counts involve the same victim and the same act or transactions. USSG 3D1.2A application note 3 explains. Under subsection A, counts are to be grouped together when they represent essentially a single injury or are part of a single criminal episode or transaction involving the same victim. When one count charges an attempt to commit an offense and the other charges the commission of that offense, or when one count charges an offense based on a general prohibition and the other charges violation of a specific prohibition encompassed in the general prohibition, the counts will be grouped together under subsection A. Examples: 1. The defendant is convicted of forging and uttering the same check. The counts are to be grouped together. 2. The defendant is convicted of kidnapping and assaulting the victim during the course of the kidnapping. The counts are to be grouped together. 3. The defendant is convicted of bid rigging and antitrust offense and of mail fraud for signing and mailing a false statement that the bid was competitive. The counts are to be grouped together. Now, the defendant is convicted of 2 counts of assault on a federal officer for shooting at the same officer twice while attempting to prevent apprehension as part of a single criminal episode. The counts are to be grouped together. 5. The defendant is convicted of 3 counts of unlawfully bringing aliens into the United States, all counts arising out of a single incident. The 3 counts are to be grouped together, but the defendant is convicted of 2 counts of assault on a federal officer for shooting at the officer on 2 separate days. The counts are not to be grouped together. USSG 3D1.2 App Note 3. The government submits that the conduct that formed the basis for each of the racketeering acts as to Jane Doe number 4, Geronda, did not involve the same act and transaction and did not substantially involve the same harm and therefore should not be grouped. Rather, the conduct is most akin to the final example in application note 3, where a defendant is convicted of 2 counts of assault for shooting at the officer on 2 separate days, a scenario where grouping is not called for. Racketeering Acts 5, 6, and 7 relate respectively to 1. The Mann Act violation related to Jane Doe number 4, RA 5, 2. Forced labor of Jane Doe number 4, RA 6, and 3. The sexual exploitation of Jane Doe number 4, RA 7. And that's racketeering, y'all, by the way. As Jane Doe number 4 testified at trial on several occasions over the course of 6 months, the defendant, using his cellular telephone, induced Jane Doe number 4 to come to his residence and engage in sexual contact with him. Separately, on several occasions over a 6-month period, the defendant video recorded Jane Doe number 4 engaging in sexual explicit conduct. And finally, in January 2010, the defendant caused Jane Doe number 4 to engage in sex and oral sex with the defendant by means of force, threats of force, physical restraint, or threats of physical restraint in a scheme plan or pattern intended to cause Jane Doe number 4 to believe that if she did not perform such services, she will suffer serious harm or physical restraint. Even though the conduct overlapping in time, these three types of conduct constitute separate acts or transactions and involve very different harm. See this particular case law. Two episodes of sexual misconduct that society has legitimately criminalized occurring with the same person on different days are not substantially the same harm for purposes of Section 3D1.2. Hey, you guys coming in, I do apologize. Hey, y'all. Baby ears are near going to catch the replay. Okay, got you. Yeah, I got you. Hey, Tabitha, you back beautiful. Welcome back. Okay. And I am not, again, I'm not, this video is not going to be long. I don't even think I'm gonna hit an hour on this, because I want you guys to be able to play it back and be able to, read along and not get overwhelmed, because I know this can be a lot, all this read. So I'm gonna try to cap it off here soon, and then I will be back to finish the read for you guys. Okay. Tonight is Straight Talk with Whitney D. So if I don't get on and try to at least wrap it up tonight, then I will come back tomorrow. Okay. All right. So let's continue. Undue influence enhancement. As to Racketeering Act 5, the defendant objects to the two-level enhancement presented to USSG 2G1.3B2. May 27, 2022, sentence memorandum 5 through 6, section 2G1.3B2B provides that the enhancement is warranted when a participant otherwise unduly influence a minor to engage in prohibited sexual conduct. Application Note 3B explains in determining whether subsection B2B applies, the court should closely consider the facts of the case to determine whether hold on, continue. And y'all know these are our notes. Participants' influence over the minor compromise the voluntariness of the minor's behavior. The voluntariness of the minor's behavior may be compromised without prohibited sexual conduct occurring. In a case in which a participant is at least 10 years older than the minor, there shall be a reputable presumption that subsection B2B applies. In such a case, some degree of undue influence can be presumed because of the substantial difference in age between the participant and the minor. Okay, this last paragraph is where I'm going to stop you guys. USSG 2G1.3 application note 3B. Here the defendant was 26 years older. Damn. Sorry, y'all. God dang. 26 years older than Jane Doe number 4, Geronda, thereby giving rise to a rebutable presumption of 2G1.3B2B's application. Now, the defendant's attempt to rebut this presumption by claiming that Geronda was sophisticated and took great pains to get close to. Ooh, child. Sophisticated, just a nice word, nice, nasty word of saying grown. Okay? Fast. Okay? And took great pains to get close to him, meaning, you know what I'm saying, basically she She pursued him, right? Mm. The defendant, May 27, 2022, sentence memorandum 5 through 6 is absurd. Geronda was a 16-year-old girl who was a devoted fan of the defendant's music, nothing about which amounts to sophistication. By contrast, the defendant, a famous and wealthy musician who was 26 years her senior, induced her to engage in sexual contact with him, including after he learned that she was just 16 years old. Moreover, the defendant uh, promulgated various rules that Geronda was required to follow in an effort to control Geronda, and directed her to have sexual contact with others, including another woman, further evidencing the undue influence he wielded over her. In these circumstances, the defendant has not rebutted and cannot rebut the presumption. The enhancement is therefore warranted. We're going to stop right there. We're on page 13. I will update this video page numbers, and we will continue, okay? As we read over this submission by way of the government, just basically knocking down this motion, okay? Child, yikes. You know what I'm saying? Like, the government know what they're doing. I don't put it past them. I don't feel like any particular piece of evidence caught them by storm. I think they were aware of everything. But at the end of the day, just like this young lady being hot or even sophisticated for her age or grown for her age, has nothing to do with the fact of the matter that, Ninja, you were the grown one. Okay? You were really grown, nigga. You were the grown. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Ninja. Okay? You are the real grown one. Okay? And you should have not been engaging in any kind of sexual anything with this young lady. Okay, like I've always used the analysis of, I don't care if this girl was butt naked, pee popping on the handstand. All right, you are old, sir. Okay, you are old, and in no way, shape, or form should you have been engaging in any kind of anything with this young lady or any of the young ladies and young men. That's on period. But not for nothing, you guys, that is the video. I will be back, like I said, with you guys quite possibly this afternoon. I mean, this evening. I may come either before or after Straight Talk with Whitney D. If not, for sure, you guys, I'll be back to you guys on tomorrow before we turn up and celebrate my birthday with a midday celebration, just to, honor my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, I'm still living. I made 35. I'm blessed. God is good. In spite of some, bumpiness that I've experienced in these last week. But to whom much is given, much is required. So I am absolutely grateful in every way, shape, or form to be able to be here, to be living, to be on the side of the living. We lost a lot of people these past weeks. A lot of beautiful young kids lost their life because of these, I was about to cuss, these Looney Tunes, okay? These idiots, okay? Let me be very clear, and I know this is very off the topic. Guns don't kill people. Crazy, bat ape, crazy people kill people. Okay, all right? And we can burn up every gun. We can get rid of all these violations, but people will find ways and means to act out their evilness. All right? Look at how people are on the freaking internet. We ain't even using guns, but our words are killing more people than normal. You feel me? So I just want to say, you guys, be safe out here. Choose your battles wisely. Because things can go left real quick. All right. So not for nothing, you guys. I love y'all so very much. I pray you guys tune in this evening for Straight Talk with Whitney D. Here, same bat plays, different bat time, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be bringing you guys another episode of Straight Talk, okay? Until then, you guys, y'all stay blessed. I'll see you soon.
What the hell is wrong with you people? Every famous nigga that gets arrested is not Nelson Mandela. Yes, the government conspires to put a lot of innocent black men in jail on fallacious charges. But R. Kelly is not one of those men. We all know the nigga can sing. But what happened to standards? What happened to bare minimums? You a fan of R. Kelly? You want to help R. Kelly? Then get some counseling for R. Kelly. Introduce him to some older women. Hide his camcorder. But don't pretend like the man is a hero.
Y'all killing me with this. I can't help.
Robert.
I can't help. Dos delincuentes. You're killing me, man. This ain't not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids, and I can't do it. Y'all just don't want to believe the truth. You don't want to believe it.
At this point, we briefly pause the interview to give Kelly a moment.
Man, y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me. Y'all trying to kill me. Y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me with killing me, man. Trying to kill me. Killing me, killing me, man. Trying to kill me. Killing me. Y'all wanna believe it? Trying to kill me. Killing me, killing me, man. Trying to kill me. I hope this camera keep going. Stupid R. Kelly. Fight for my life. Stupid R. Kelly. Do it. Stupid R. Kelly.